I sometimes, just don't know where to begin. It like I remember, I think it was an Encounter at Farpoint was the try to get so you can see me better a little bit here. Encounter at Farpoint, the first Star Trek Next Generation episode. A Q goes like, or was it the last? It might have been All Good Things. I'm not sure if it was the first episode or the last episode of Next Generation when Q goes like the trial never ends, and it's so true because you know I don't like people in general. Um, and the reason I don't is because everything that I've gone after, every competition, anything, you're up against people. You're they are not there to help you. And my trigger is like exactly that. When someone says, "Oh man, I'm just trying to help you," and this is going to lead into this episode, but you know, um, hold on a second. We have a visitor here, which is not allowed in our place. Wow, we got it, I think. Yep. Sorry, there's a spider here. Big. Not allowed in in my domain. So, hold on. We have to send that bug to the next dimension. Kill the bugs. You know, I just it can be very difficult. Let's see if we can get a little better lighting here somehow. No, I mean I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hide or anything. Oh, good. Maybe a little better here. You can actually see what I look like a little better. But the thing is that when you're a very competitive, combative person, and that's what you've done your whole life is compete, and then people, you know, try to get your attention, and the people that are trying to get your attention. I mean, I hate being honest, but I have to be because if you're not, then they're worthless to me. To me, I'm not saying they're worthless in any regard, but they're just to me personally. There's nothing that. So I remember in Star Trek 2 in the Wrath of Khan when Ricardo Montalban said, you know, I'm here to grant nothing. Like he said that in the Botany Bay in the cargo hold. You know, he said it to Chekhov and Captain Terrell, Paul Winfield. Yeah, he's a good actor. I got to meet Walter Koenig at a small movie premiere a couple months ago, Raging Midlife. I got to talk to him briefly, and his wife passed, and it was just like you could tell she meant everything to him. And she was actually in the movie too. She's pretty funny. And I got to meet Paula Abdul, which was very, very big deal for me. It's a very big deal. That woman is like a, what she did in dance choreography. Oof, it means it meant she knew. When I met her, it is. She actually. I mean, I could talk about that. That is. That's something for another episode. But the thing is that I realize I've watched, these. I'm not into tennis or anything, but these very competitive tennis matches when I'm on the exercise bike, and at the end of the match, you see sometimes they, yeah, very, very show of good sportsmanship. But you know, at that level, it is to be expected because number one, you're on television. The whole world is watching, not just the people in the crowd. And yes, there's millions of dollars at stake in endorsements and things like that. But you're talking about the top echelon of people on television. When I am training, and I am training every day, hours upon hours, in the park, in the gym, my diet, going to the market a couple times a day, you know, I was researching, because my diet's so clean, it was interesting because I learned, I like garbanzo beans, sardines and water, avocado, rice. And I was curious because what I'll do sometimes I'll make like what I call this type of bowl, and the bowl is a little bit of white rice, one can of the sardines, water drained, and then cut up an avocado, and that's my little bowl. I do things very plain for efficiency. Food is not a production to me. When I'm going to the gym, I see these people, and these the families they all gather around. Like it's meant to be fun or some type of communal gathering of people that sitting on their ass and eating and drinking is the me the it's stupid to me. Not to tell people how to live their lives or anything, but you know, just the narrative, the generic type, you know, they're negating what I call, the reality of health because of this production kind of thing. It's like, what is it they say? They say Thanksgiving for breakfast, Easter for lunch, and then Christmas for dinner. It's like just and that's why these people they get a little age on them and they're right on medication and they're all the doctors tell them you need to lose weight. So what doctor needs to tell you something? What the fuck is that? It's like you don't, because it's elusive. What happens is you in overindulge, because you're sitting on, most people don't fucking realize this. They're sitting on their ass in a job or whatever, standing, like at whatever, and then they're eating. So you're not moving around. Your body is not moving, not working, not being efficient. And then you're sleeping for a certain amount of time. Then you're sitting on a couch watching TV. So the body is not getting any real work in. And that shit just compounds daily. It doesn't like compound interest, but it compounds, into pounds. And even, like an hour a day, I mean, I guess it's something. Like if you're walking, it's better than nothing, of course, but it's just, God, people just don't get it. They don't get it, and they don't understand that time is going to add up, and what's going to happen is, dude, I'm going to be 52, and what happens is, in your 20s into your 30s is like the last call already, and you're basically saying, don't worry, that you're relying on genetic predisposition to carry you. And what's going to happen is it's all going to add up on you. And it starts to add up fast, when you start to get older. And you're going to fall into what I call the normal fat and happy kind of way, is what most people do. They fall into this fat and happy kind of thing, and because they don't get it. And when they're young, it's more about the vanity. You know how women spend so much money on hair and makeup, that they do that because the vanity, how everybody else perceives them, which doesn't even fucking matter. What matters is how you perceive yourself. We live in this culture, of bullshit. And everybody's trying to bide for your attention in worthless things that have no value, you know? I'm going to talk about what happened at the gym tonight again. I guess I could be characterized as a hothead. But the thing is, I don't like anyone trying to help me. Really, these push-up bars at the gym. It's like the first thing I do is, when I'm ready to walk into the gym, I look for the push-up bars. I put them up against a plyometric block. Put the plyometric block upright so I can get my feet at a 45-degree angle. It's like a warm. Looking, I got one of the push-up bars there. I'm looking around. Where the fuck is this other one? Looking around the whole gym. I'm like, where the fuck is this damn other push-up bar? It's good size, and they're walked around the whole gym. I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? My gym has like a bike room on the second floor. It's like for spinning. The lights were off and everything, and I said, let me go in there for a second. There's nobody in there. Let me go look for a second, see if that other push-up bar is in there. Looking in it. And as I'm looking, I know it's not there. I'm going to leave, and there's this fucking guy. The lights over there. And I go, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And then he goes, well, and then he, of course, has to continue. Well, I'm just trying to help you, man. That's all it took. The second he goes, I'm trying to fucking help you. And I said, just mind your own fucking business. That was it. And then he said, I'll fucking sit. He goes, I'll fucking slap you right now. And then that was the end of it. I was like, I turned around and I go, you dude, you're about to die right now. I didn't say that, but I was just like, I'm getting banned from this gym tonight because you are going to the hospital. Like just my 15 years in there, I'll just go work out some. I mean, I just was like, fucking atypical ghetto, fucking tough guy, closet faggot, whatever, in my gym. Hood over the head kind of thingies, think he's something, of course. I don't care about these people. Like, I don't know why they're trying to help me. So I have to like make sure and really get it through their fucking brain that I don't want your help. So that it will be as clear as fucking day. I can't be anything. It's like you just don't understand. I am used to getting ignored every time I see women, and I've tried in my entire life just about being ignored and not getting it. And then you're getting attention from these worthless fucking fill in the blank. You get it. It doesn't matter if I say it or not because it's just what it is. Meaningless, worthless people. They're all trying to help me. And then the second I really tell them, I brutally just tell them straight up that I don't want their help, they blow up. It's how you say it. What you know what, dude? Stop being nice and start being real. That's what the book that I want to write. I want to. That's the title. Why? Just mind your own fucking business is what I say. Like I said that I said, mind your own fucking business. I don't need your help, dude. And they're so shocked when you throw the reality at them, because they're not expecting that. If I want your help, I'll ask for it. It's like, fuck you, man. These people. I heard a thing when Rich Gaspari was getting ready for the Olympia, and he was incredible. I got to meet him a couple times, and beast. He's getting ready, and he was runner up to Lee Haney a couple times. Can you imagine? Dude, the Olympia, it's like that's it, the best on earth. And this guy is like just getting second to Lee Haney. That's it. And I remember him saying he was getting ready for Olympia, walk in the gym, and you just like a fucking tank. Like some people would try to talk with him and everything. He said, "Get the fuck out of my way! I'm getting ready for the Olympia." And I understand the intensity of these people because they go there. They go to this place that it's like they know they have to go to literally, they have to go to hell. A place that almost no one else is going to go to be able to forge and create what they're trying to do. It's hard as fuck. I'm not just talking bodybuilding. Now I'm getting ready for the natural Olympia. I got the shirt from, can't really see it, but this is from 2 years ago. Ironic because the actual culmination, it's like a 3 day thing. You got your amateurs on day one, your pros the next day, and then like a final kind of like an award ceremony. But the awards are actually given right after the event. You don't have to wait for. And it just so happened that the ending concluded on my 50th birthday, and I had done like I think 4 or 5 shows prior, and then the World Cup of Natural Bodybuilding was a week before in El Segundo, and I did the World Cup, and I just kept getting decimated in the open. The category is, I would do my class category, which is masters 40 to 49 years old. And I was usually uncontested. So, they give you the first place medal, and just go out there but I would right afterwards you come out there with everybody in the open, which is, you know, every age group. And the younger guys, they're really sharp, and I get last in that. And I get that, like I was able to handle it because I still felt all right. Like, for my age, no one's doing it except me, so that's kind of cool and everything. And but we talk about good sportsmanship. That's that's when my best comes out. Um, I'm very proud of myself, the way that I handle the results in the open. Let me give you an idea. So, you know, um, I remember like I got last or almost last place in the open classic physique. So I come out there and like whenever the next person, all the other people, I always clap for them. And then I point. I think the wrestlers would do that. The Shawn Michaels, the double arm point like that to the winner or whatever. And I really show the good sportsmanship. I make it a real point, literally, to demonstrate that, because I know what they went through. I know what I went through. And getting ready for a show is a lot. At the end, it's a lot on top of a lot. You showing up, and then you got the hotel and tanning, and then early and this that whatever that, and then finally going out there and then doing the thing. So I have a lot of respect for my competitors, a lot. And you know the results are arbitrary. Like the excuse me, but for some reason that doesn't bother me that much. Um, my last contest, I will talk. I'm going to talk about this because it did bother me. I've been with the INBA, which is part of the PNBA, the Natural Bodybuilding, and I've done 9 shows over the past 3 years. 9 shows, and my first show was the Central California Championships, which I could have signed up for all these categories. I didn't know it was my first show. I just did the open, and I didn't get last. There were a lot of people in this classic physique category, and but only the top 3 got the medals and stuff. I got some real cheap participation thing, and literally broke my spirit, from wanting to compete because here I was like 47 years old at the time, probably, or maybe 48, and you know, lifting my entire life, and I was like 160. I'm under 140 now, but I didn't realize it's not a clothing contest. At 160, my clothes filled out. It was like but that's not what natural bodybuilding is. It's not a clothing contest. It's the opposite. And I argued with judges and things about that because I kept saying, well, but that's unhealthy for me to be 135. I look emaciated, but they're wrong. They were right. I'm sorry, I was wrong. They were right because over the span of 3 years, I started to lean down to where it's like, all right, well, now I'm 150. Let's see what I look like. Then now 140. Let's see what I look like. And so they were right about how, but you don't look emaciated, believe me. And it's funny because the camera, when you're on camera, and I look at myself and I go, God, you look like a nothing and stuff. But I can almost hit the human flag, when you pump up and it's, I get it. I really get it now. I didn't get it back then. Um, but even as a competitor with that, it doesn't really piss me off as much. But the Central California a couple months ago did needle me, did get under my skin quite a bit, and the reason was because I really thought my ninth show, and these people that run it, they know me, they know how long I've been at this trying to get that fucking pro card, and I thought, all right, I think I got it this time. I think I'm gonna walk out with that pro card. I was about 140 pounds maybe, and I remember backstage. God, what I went through to get to fucking Bakersfield. God, sorry, it's a lot. It's a lot, dude. Took the fucking train up there, bus was it? And then God, to walk, it fucking hot as fuck. I mean, it was a night. That's okay. But then, you got all these fucking cholos, going down California Street. Here I'm just trying to walk to the fucking Ramada, and it's like, am I gonna live here? It's like gangster's paradise. That's like their thing in their souped up car. It was like a fucking lowrider convention. As I'm on the streets, I'm just trying to get to the fucking hotel. And the next day, God help you, it's like 108 degrees. No, not a cloud in the fucking sky, and you're like, why am I doing all this? If you've ever been to Bakersfield, you know what I'm talking about. And here I thought, all right, you can literally go through hell and finally walk out with the pro card, after doing this. There was like, what, 2 3 years later, 2 years later, what, I think three. Sorry, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So I remember pumping up, and this one guy comes back there. He goes, "Oh my god, dude, you're gonna get that pro card today." And I'm sitting there, dude. It's like, I know he's hexing me. He's like, but he thought, and I'm looking at myself. I'm pushing the bands. I'm like, God, I hope so. And what happened was, like 3 years ago, the thing was classic physique. All these guys were doing classic, and now they're doing just physique, the board short stuff. So it's not as many people in classic. I stayed with classic, and it was me and this one other kind of young guy, and they brought us out. And I think, no, first I did my age category, grandmasters, by myself. So I was uncontested, so I knew I got that. I was happy about that. But then in the overall, it was just me and one other guy, and he wasn't that good. And I looked at him; he kind of looked like small, skinny, kind of. He didn't. And I really, when I came out there, did I try hard? I hit my shots. I really fucking flexed. I gave it everything I possibly could do. And when they announced the judges at the end, the woman that run, and she goes, and it was close by 1 point, and I'm thinking, what? I blew this guy away, like literally, and they gave it to him, and I the just you, I've I'm just so used to not getting, so like it doesn't surprise me. So when I went out there, I in second place, I looked up like, all right, Mike, you got about, well, there's a couple hundred people in the crowd here. Just give them the props and whatever. And I did. And I went backstage. I could see the guy that won by the door, and he had like a coach that was, hey, man, yeah, you got the pro card. Yeah, you got it. I took my stuff, I threw it in the bag, and I walked out the door. And he was like right by the door. And I just said, good job, dude. And I just walked out, into the 103, 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon in Bakersfield at 108 degrees. Nine contests over 3 years, no pro card. They could have given it to me too. I've seen this where like second place and they give it to, yeah, they wouldn't give it to me. Unbelievable. And I just remember how mad how it was like in same thing in Oceanside, Southern California Championships when I got second place. I got this gaudy trophy, this ugly ass gold, cheap ass shit. The medals are decent, I have to admit, but you know, eh, the Olympia, fucking Olympia, dude. I was really, I remember how upset I was even before anything, like God, paying like $275 for just the entry. And then you're paying for tanning, and it's God, it's all of this. And then, you know, I got destroyed because after the World Cup, which is a week prior, I really didn't want it. Like I said to myself, all right, well, that was it. I got a, there was no, I was uncontested as a master in my master's category at 40 to 49. So he gave me a medal for the World Cup. All right, and then I got destroyed in the Open. I go, well, if I get this, the Olympia, forget it. But I said, well, the 40 to 49 at the Olympia might, maybe I'll place, I'll get something. But I felt like I shot my wad, like I was really already, I didn't want to die at any, and it was a week. But then I said, I turned 50 at this event, and you're only going to get one shot at this in life. So let's go ahead and do it. So I showed up half assed, and just to be there. And I went through it, and I got last. But I remember talking with one of the guys that was from like Spain or something, or Brazil. I forget. No, the guy who won was from Brazil. But he told me he turned pro in another federation. So I'm literally up against pros as in the amateur show. And it's just totally unfair, totally. I think there was two, maybe three guys from the United States. I was one of them. It was kind of cool though. At the end, you get to hold up the flag representing your country and everything. And so I still was one of the best representations in the entire country. That's how low the bar is in natural bodybuilding. It's like, you know, because people don't want to do it. They don't see, any financial return. They see a lot of time, effort, and energy put in, no recognition really. You're paying on top of paying on top of paying, work on top of work on top of work, and then you get this nice little medal, whatever, and but nothing, you know. So people just question the narrative. Why put yourself through all of it for nothing? It's Who cares? My name is in the Natural Olympia history books, along with 300 other amateurs every year, and then whatever, 400 other pros every year. It's recorded, so that is kind of cool. Like you are documented, for what you've done. You're just not, you know. I remember, like, I think it was the Ironman Pro. The Natural Olympia. They have the rights to Ironman name in bodybuilding now, and um, that was my second contest after the Central California, my second show, and it kind of surprised me because I signed up for my age group, 40 to 49, and then the Open, and this is coming off the Central California, which, again, my first show being a massive disappointment. I don't know why I persevered. I was like, well, you know, I'll give this one last shot here, and we're gonna let this die, another dream that I never became nothing like I usually do. But it didn't work out. It worked out in a way that I did not expect. Um, I didn't read this first time I did my age category first, and I didn't realize, because I was the only one, that I'm going to get the first place medal. I didn't know it was just. I thought, there has to be somebody else to get something. I didn't realize that. Um, so I did that first. Then I did the Open Classic, and I knew that I wasn't, in the top three out of like eight or something. But when they announced the awards, and they said, "Well, winner of the Masters," and they said my name, I mean, I didn't realize it, so I got a big fucking big medal, like, big, for winning the. I mean, I almost cried for a second. I was, because what happens is, like when you finally get something, for, in my mind, like, for all the work and going through, you know it's a lot, because I always say, only you know what you've been through. And people love to mock that. They did that, and I could talk about other things, other show, TV shows that I danced on, where people fucked with me, and they don't know. And you know what? Because they haven't been through hell. They haven't. Because if they try to, like, follow my footsteps and go through what I've been through, they cry like fucking faggot bitches. Instead of making fun of me, they would fold and crack. They couldn't do it. I know they couldn't. Anybody can make fun of you and whatever, but when it comes time, you know, when to, let them try to emulate and go through, the torture test, as I call it, and I can name 100 of them. They won't. They won't. There's no fucking way they won't. I got a friend. He thinks that He's like 37. He thinks he's going to get in shape, and then, oh yeah, I can do, his arrogant mentality. Just like I guarantee you, all the people in the fucking crowd that were watching, when there was a good amount, I could do it too. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't, and you won't, because I was the only one. I was the only fucking one. So only one in the World Cup, only one in Central California, only one in the battle against cancer, the only one in the Ironman, the only one, and the only time that was challenged was a Natural Olympia, and one other show, Southern California Championships, where one guy, there's like this Hawaiian guy that was, I couldn't believe this guy was in his 50s, and he was sharp as a diamond. And I know that he got the pro card way, way many times before, and he will not step up. He would just stay in the amateur category. Too scared, too scared. Unfucking believable, you know. This is good stuff. Excuse me. One older competitor, he said, that I'm seasoned. Like after doing so many shows. I don't know why I break out so much. Maybe it's this drink from the sugar has 5 grams of sugar. I really watch my sugar intake. Um, but I put a lot of time into natural bodybuilding, and unfortunately, if you Google INBA, PNBA, a questionable organization where they say they drug it, and it is most the people they cheat. I know they're taking. I could look at any body, any body, and I can tell you what's going on because I've been around this my entire life. I'm gonna beat somebody that's all I do all day, every day, in the gym, calisthenics in the park, cardio at night. You think you're going to show me something? Like you're going to um, school me, educate me? I have the doctorate. I'm sorry, I have a master's degree in phys ed. I'm a doctor candidate. I have 10,000 hours of gym time, studying knowledge, everything. What are you gonna fucking come in there and school me? You're half my fucking age, and you think you know twice as much. Amazing. Meanwhile, they give the pro card to Jeff Side. You all know who he is. 30-year-old guy telling me that's natural. Come on, man. If you believe that, you are just another fool of many. Anyway, I don't know why I lateraled into talking so much about what I've done in natural bodybuilding so much, but the Natural Olympia is 5 weeks away, and I hope to really have a better showing this time. I'm going to forego any other contests until that one. And I think that's important. It's a very important show to me. And after that, there's a marathon. After that, I think I already talked about all this. I'm glad that nobody watches this. I'm really glad, because most people are going to spend their time trying to be entertained by something. Their idea of learning is, well, it's something that you go to school for. That's how you learn in school. And then after that's over, then it's just a real world, the working, and that's it. And then there's entertainment, going to movies or a sporting event, and just the linear, robotic type thinking that most people adhere to, and their pets and whatever. What I call the weak-minded, which most of you are. Most of you are. If you call that living a life, then hey, go have at it. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life, but I hate it when people try to help me. That's the second time in a couple days somebody said they were trying to help me. I don't need your fucking help. It's so amazing when you speak up in life that they are so set aback by that, and then they gotta come, then they gotta let you have it. I'll kick your ass, motherfucker. One other way. That was what the Mexican guy said. He'd kick my ass after I told him I didn't need his help. And then this black guy at the fucking gym told me today, he goes, I'll slap the shit out of you. He said, it's so amazing. It's so amazing that I have so much power in my words, that what I say, that it's like I get the attention of the worthless. Meanwhile, I'm on an exercise bike, and then this beautiful woman that she's leaving wouldn't even give you the time of day. Isn't it amazing that you get attention from things that have no value generally? It's just, amazing. I'm just saying, like, what I notice. There's like a handful of people that I have a lot of respect for, that I know, the people that I know personally. And those people I would never snap at. No way. No way. I don't care what they would say, because first off, they wouldn't say anything, because we are the people that I am on par with. I trust them implicitly. I don't go to the snapping place. That's reserved for everyone that lies outside of that circle. Because generally, I don't like people. They offer nothing to me. They're just, you know I don't care. I'm nor for nor against. It's a neutrality. They're just asteroids in the way of my ship, that are like, I'm maneuvering around, to get to where I need to go. I don't care about their issues. I don't care about what they're fighting for. I don't care about anything, because it has no value to me. And I don't have to go out of my way to let them know it. I just, but if they try to get my attention, I definitely make sure and tell them. And then when I do, it's like they're ready to go to, it's amazing. Like they're so sensitive. But when I let them have it, like I let them have reality, according to Warrior Junior, they just they just explode. They just explode, like they can't handle me. So I don't know why they bother. Just why they want to help me. Only thing I need help from is from women, that might have interest in me. That's it. I don't need help from you faggots and you fucking bums, you fucking worthless people. I don't need you. What do I need you for? You have no value to me. But you want my attention. And then when I finally give it to you, my attention, then you go fucking ape shit like a fucking monkey. Kick your ass out of me. Yeah. Because I'm telling you the truth, dude. That's why. No one else will. Nobody else will. But I do. I tell you the real fucking shit, which should be highly respected. But no. No. You try to fucking come at me verbally. Unbelievable. That's how fucking weak-minded most of you fucking people are. A guy that gives brutal honesty. When you try to get my attention and then you get it, and then you can't handle it because you can't do what I can do. You're not willing to sacrifice. You're not, dude. Anybody could talk. Anybody. But you don't got 10,000 hours of fucking real hard ass work. You don't got 9 bodybuilding shows. You don't have marathons, half marathons, cold, being out there in the cold when no one gives a shit about you. Running, biking 10 miles. Dude, tonight I did 14 miles. Before that, I did a shitload of calisthenics work in the park, dude, day in and day out. You think you're at my level? That's why I won't even talk to you. It's a sense of entitlement. It's an arrogant fucking lazy. It's a combination of arrogant and lazy. Andrew Tate talks about that. Arrogant and fucking lazy is what most are. I don't even watch UFC, MMA. Never. I don't think I've seen like is it because of Smashing Machine, the Mark Kerr story? I was curious who this guy was or what he did. I watch stuff like that for a minute, but I don't profess to be a fighter, an MMA fighter, or anything like that. But these kids, they watch this stuff and they get excited, and they think that, well, yeah, that's I can do this, like or that's all I got to do is pretend. Pretend, dude. I've hit a heavy bag 10,000, kicked it and punched it 10,000, 100,000 times, practicing. Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee. I worked my ass off. How are you gonna show me somebody? Would you think Now I'm not walking into like a fucking Gracie Jiu-Jitsu studio and saying, "Throw me your best guy at me." I'm not retarded. But dude, you think you're smoking mirrors, hot word, talking. You're gonna beat me. You're gonna slap that shit out of me. You're gonna fuck me up. And then what happens is in my mind it just sinks in. I go, dude, I've got thousands upon thousands of hours of fighting, like gut grinding, sweating, not just hitting a bag, but like real, grabbing fucking these fucking sandbag type things and wrestling them to the ground and locks and holds and practice. I'm thinking about all the crap that I put myself through, and then somebody that thinks that I can't do anything. And so it's like in chess, like I'm a national co-champion. Now I'm not a master, I'm not an expert, but I was damn near close to a class A player. So it'd be like somebody that's like not even a C player would be like, "I'll kick your ass and I'll beat your ass." I say you're calling out a former national co-champion. I would demolish you. Would demolish you. And so it's the same thing like in fighting. Like any guy that thinks but he doesn't have the training. He doesn't have it. That's all he has is a smoke and mirrors and you know they get mad. I don't care how mad you get. If you don't know how to fight, it counts for nothing. Like that's the whole thing. It's what does that mean? Coming to get you. Yeah, what are you gonna do when you get there? You think you're gonna throw a like your lucky haymaker? You're gonna come back or something, or your one little thing that has real no power behind it. I'm gonna move for a second, and then I'm gonna come in, and it's gonna be like you're not gonna. It's so fast. It is somebody that's practiced for years. They can come in on you so fast that it's like lightning. It's lightning. And God help you if you're up against somebody that can move. I've watched videos. There's a guy, he's like he practices just defense, and he gives the guy a pair of gloves and he goes, "Try to punch me," and then when he get too close, he pushes him off. But and he goes, "Can't." The guy sees it coming, and you can't hit him. You cannot hit him. May God help you if you think like you've got something, and then you're up against somebody of that caliber. If you can't hit him, he can kill you. Okay? Do you understand that? Do you understand? Like you do not. You got to understand that you're trying to challenge. You're out of your fucking mind. And it's not like chess. It's worse because, in chess, oh, you lose a game, your ego, oh, I said I could kick his ass, but I lost, whatever. But in fighting, if you lose, if somebody hits, oh my God, it hurts. I mean, like I've had the living shit kicked out of me multiple times. And this one guy a couple days ago that came after me, I went after him, and when I came in there to really send him to the hospital, he went like this. We saw the true colors of that there's nothing. He called me a bully. I didn't say anything. He just wouldn't leave me alone. And then he says he's gonna kick my ass because I called him worthless after a while. But he is like I just why did he keep trying to get my attention? He saw I was ignoring him, and he goes, "But you're ignoring me." And I'm waiting for light to change so I can get out of here. And then when the light changed, I looked at him and I said, "You are completely worthless." And that just he decided that I was going to be he was going to just hang out with me that day. It's so fucking amazing. It's like so fucking amazing. Attention from the things that have absolutely no fucking value whatsoever. Try to ignore all of this, and just work on myself. But these people, they seem to they want your attention, or they need it, or I'm trying to think of like what do they hope to gain? They must really, it's like a baby crying or something. Like, why do you need me? Why me? Doesn't matter if you see some guy doing something, then you need to become that guy. You know, there's like this older woman. She just loves to talk to people in the workout area. The park. and I now, I ignored her. I didn't even say anything, but she just, I guess she's just like trying to gather all this knowledge or something. But most people, they just waste their time asking all these questions and they don't apply it, because the application is where the real work is. It would be like somebody um asking, okay, where's the gold, and then somebody would just say, well, the mine's right there, go to the mine. And they won't even, maybe they'll walk to the entrance of it and it's there. Why do somebody already told you where it is. And then if you go in the mine, you're going to need a shovel and a light, and you're going to need to work. And that's where it ends. They got the information, but then comes the work. And that's where they say, fuck this, fuck that. And that's what most people do. They gathering information, debating if I should do this and that. They ain't doing shit. If you if you show me where the mine is, where the gold is, and I can get that damn shovel, then I can go to work. But the thing is, like, and that's what I realized. I said, wow, once I figured out, I said, in the park they have rings, they have parallel bars, push up bar, and then a chin up, 3 levels, the bars. And I said, holy shit. It's like God is giving me the tools now. And then there's these steps, um, like 60 steps up and down, well lit. It's and so I look at it like, all right, God is giving me the tools now. Don't ask for anything more. Your work ethic's inside, and now it's time to grind. So what happens is, like, when I mentally prepare myself, I go into the park and stuff. I said, when I get to this fucking place, we're going to war. We're going to war against me. I'm not going there to compete. If anybody else is there to belittle them, I'm not there to talk with them. I'm not there to help them. I'm there for myself, to work on me. That's it. That's all. That's all. And for some reason, people just love to come up to me sometimes, and as I'm working my ass off or whatever, and I just say no. Like, I just, because I need them to really know that I'm serious. And if you just are nice and they don't really take you seriously until you really let them have it. Unfortunately, that can come with retaliation. Um, but I'm prepared for it, because I like to make my point known. I like to tell them, make sure they understand from the beginning that I am not interested in talking to you. I don't want to know who you are. I don't want you to know who I am. I don't care about you, and leave me alone. It's very simple. And it can all that can be summarized in no, like you tell them immediately. And that's how you kind of put your foot down hard. It might not seem nice, but I'm not a nice guy. Like, I don't care. I'm into effectiveness. I'm, like I said, when I go to the gym, I go to the park, I'm going to war, and war is not pretty. And unfortunately, that guy that tried to help me, he was in the way of the warrior. Like, basically, he's trying to get my attention. Trying to help me. That is unwise, and unnecessary for somebody that has been around as long as I have and done as much as I have. I find it offensive. I find it unnecessary. I find them worthless. And most people, they don't go to that extreme. They will not go to the place that I'm willing to go to. I'm not there to have a good time, because it's not easy. I mean, think about this. I'm on the bike and puddles of sweat coming off your body, snot is coming out your nose, um, you're farting gas, because all this crap is coming out. If you're training properly, if you really are training hard on the bike, that's the crap, all the garbage I call coming out of the body, which is not pretty. And I call my gym the library because it's a bunch of faggots. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, a bunch of pussies that don't push themselves, don't work up sweat, they don't do anything that has any real value, and they turn down the music as it gets an hour and a half before the gym closes. So they try to psychologically lower the intensity level. They know they all these fans around there. It's just pussy shit. And well, why do you go there? I go there because I believe that you need to go to a place close and get in there and get out of there. I'm not going to travel to the ends of the earth to go to the gym. It's not worth it. The time, waste of time. And the older you get, you need to be efficient, as efficient as possible. The people in there, I don't give a fuck about anyway. I don't care if they live or die. So, they shouldn't affect me one way or the other. And they don't until they try to get my attention. Now, let me rectify one situation, because after that fucking guy with that thing at the gym, um, there were two people that did approach me as I was using the power cage, um, to do a human flag. And I do it a couple times because I like the horizontal, the being able to hold the bars, from a horizontal position. And they did ask me, "Excuse me, sir," nicely, and said, "Are you using this?" And I said, "I just got one more thing on here, and I'll be done in a second." And they're okay. The guy, I need the space to try to get my body out, and they just were too damn close. So I just walked away. I just left. You can have it. Just say whatever, And I didn't even say you can. I didn't say whatever. I just left. So it's okay, Like I didn't have to engage them. Say, move the fuck out of the way, dude. I need to, because it is an odd exercise to be doing on a power cage to be able to execute a human flag. So, but it's not the end of the world. Actually, I was able to try it a couple times before they did show up. So, um, and I was already pretty hot from the other instance. So if I would have blown up on those other people, I might have, believe me. I mean, I can. It's just these people, Yeah, they think, I mean, I'm sorry, but there's like a handful of people in that entire gym, if that have ever done anything like that has any value to me. There's one chick, she was an IFBB pro, she had bikini. I think I tried to hit on her, but of course, when they gave me the time, I haven't seen her since. But it's like in life, it's like you can't get nothing. When I was young, I couldn't get, and older, you can't get. It's like, but it's just the way things are. I listen, Mr. Wonderful, like Kevin O'Leary, he said something on, I think, business channel thing. Finally, somebody, he said marriage is a business. 50% of it, and when people get married, and it's a business. And then the announcers are, and he even said, "I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, whatever," but he's 100% right. He's 100% right. In Southern California, divorce rate 66%. So do not, the math does not lie. The only reason people are together, and married, whatever, is because guys got something to offer financially. That's it. For the most part. For the most part, that's all it is. It's so amazing. When I'm carrying in my bag, I have this little bag. I carry my workout gloves and my water, to the park or whatever, and I see couples holding hands. All right, good, good, good. I'm happy. That's your investment, and it can walk away from you any fucking time. A woman can just leave you anytime. My bag is going with me. That's my investment. It ain't going anywhere. It's going with me. I control it. It's not gonna fucking walk off, disappear, get mad, decide to found some other guy. The bag is staying in my hand, or my groceries stays with me. That's my investment. I'm getting something. And while most people waste their lives going out to these dumb dinners and bars and whatever, wasting their time, which is they're doing destructive things, which are going to wear the life out of them and their health, which will catch up to them, which will catch up to you. Believe me, I'm getting dividends, fuckers. I'm getting dividends for all the work that I do. While you're losing, I'm getting. So I don't need you to fucking, you go find, so, dude. Just go fucking, you'll find out the hard way what life is about as you get older. Believe me. You know, believe you fucking me. If what I know has no value, good. Has value to fucking me. So fucking amazing people nowadays. The arrogant and fucking lazy, what most are. Whatever, I don't have to go out there and beg and hope that I can make money off of fitness and that somebody would listen to me and I could somehow get paid for any of this fucking shit. Fuck you. I don't care. Don't care. It's all for now.